Hi again, it's Lindsay. Um, Sorry again for the green light. It's gonna be a recurring theme on this channel. You can just call me Green Light Girl or whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm back again, and I'm finally making a video on Shane Dawson. Honestly, I've spent the last 2 days just going over, every leaked clip that I could find, every social media post that was reposted of his old podcast clips, both edited and unedited, and honestly, I've been a Shane Dawson fan for basically since he started YouTube, but I was working full time. I was caring for, ailing parents. I didn't always have, time to just watch everything. And I'm not that kind of like subscriber or fan where I have to see everything that this creator makes. If it was something I was interested in, I watched it. So a lot of these clips that are now surfacing, showcasing his just heinous, just absolutely disgusting and foul predatory behavior is beyond appalling. And it's damning and disgusting. And I never thought I would not be a fan of his. And that's just because I guess I had only seen the work of his that I wanted to see, which I think is the problem with a lot of, people when they follow someone. But these clips and this evidence that's coming out, there's no getting under it or over it or past it. There's no excuses he can make. There's no apology he can make to redeem himself in this situation. There are accounts from, underage, or then they were underage. And in a lot of cases, they're probably still very young, because we're talking, there were some accounts I read from 2017 where the girl was only 11, and he did things that made her uncomfortable when she met him in person. And these are all things that the information's out there now. And if you are, still supporting him, and you've seen these things, I honestly don't know where your brain is at. I can't, in any clear conscience, still support a YouTuber that honestly, for a lot of years he helped me through a lot of, unfortunately messed up shit. But that was through different eras of his content that was not, I don't know if the word problematic is correct. I mean, he's always been appropriate, even when he wasn't being downright disgusting and predatory. But I have a dark sense of humor, and I have no problem with adult humor. But when it brings children and animals and, you know, talking down about other human beings just because, you know, they're from a different culture or their skin's a different color. That's not acceptable content, and that's not acceptable behavior. And there's just so much that's come out that it's just absolutely, I can't even imagine what it's like for these people who have been affected by, you know, this behavior, because this predatory behavior, what it's like for them to see him, you know, have been so popular on this platform for so long without having any accountability for the behavior he was, you know, getting away with behind the scenes. It's, you know, the grooming behavior, the inappropriate, you know, oh, these are my fans, I can get away with this type of attitude that he seemed to have. And then, you know, I didn't follow him on all of his social media platforms. I only basically had time for YouTube at the time, and like I said, that was, you know, very few and far between either. So some of the social media clips that he or social media posts that he made. One where he was standing with a young boy that had been in one of his videos. I think it was a parody video, and I don't remember which one. It's not important what video it was. What's important is the message that he put with this picture. And honestly, if I had seen that at the time when it came out, I would have no longer been a fan of his. Because it clearly said at the end, in like brackets, yes, I'm a pedophile. And these are all images you could... there's a Twitter feed, and I'm going to try and link it below so that you can go and see all of this stuff, because there's so much on it that's damning, and that's not even everything, but it is probably the largest compiled evidence in one spot that I've seen so far. I've started watching a YouTuber called Sanders Kennedy. He's supposed to be coming out with some more supposedly unseen clips. Honestly, I don't want to say that I don't need to see anymore, because I've already made up my mind about him, but I feel like not watching it and not being made aware of everything that can possibly, you know, that I can possibly be aware of would be like closing the door on the victims. And I don't want to be like that. It's a dark subject, and it's a subject that is something that it's a very serious subject for me. Children, animals, they're the most innocent form of life that I can think of. And for someone to hurt or abuse or use or sexualize in any way, be it a joke or not, it shouldn't be joked about. And yes, he did address that kind of in his apology. What we'll say, I'm holding my camera with one hand, but I'm going to use half air quotes, his apology video, or, you know, taking accountability. He didn't even address all of it. And I kind of have a feeling that one of the things he didn't address because he knew he would probably be getting a lawsuit for, and that's the situation involving the Smith family. And I'm not going to include the clip, but like I said, it is on, I believe it is on the Twitter feed that I'm going to try and link. where he pretends to, I can't even say the word in the same sentence as an 11-year-old child because it's so disgusting, but he pretends to, let's just say, pleasure himself to a poster of then 11-year-old Willow Smith. And it's just like, even as a skit, even if it was just like a comedy skit, like, who does that? Why is it something that is necessary to put on the internet? It's not. His jokes about CP, his, disregard for, victims of sexual assault, sexual abuse, whether, young or old, but specifically in regards to children, his nonchalant way of handling this. I can't really even articulate right now how disgusted I am with not just him, but for myself, for not seeing it all of those years that I followed him. And even, was it in 2017 when the podcast clips first came out about him joking about Googling CP? I watched his explanation video because it certainly wasn't an apology. It was a half-assed attempt to excuse his behavior and try to move past it. And I think a lot of people, especially a lot of his supporters, did. I was one of them. And I'm really, truly disgusted at myself that I was like, oh, okay, well, I hate that he made that joke, but it's not him anymore. No, I can't believe I ever thought that. No, that's just an unacceptable, people who joke like that are seriously fucked in the head. I have broken up with a person who made jokes about that because I was like, I can't see staying with this person who I could potentially fall deeper in love with and get married and have children, who jokes about this type of thing. What if they actually turn out to be a predator and hurt our children? And I left that person. I have been in a relationship, unfortunately, I've been in a relationship with more than one person who took this very lightly and joked about it. And both of those relationships ended because of that behavior. I put up with plenty of abuse from these two people, but the minute they started joking about children in that manner, I was like, no, that's where I draw the line. So why did I, in my brain, say, okay, well, he doesn't make stuff like that anymore. And the excuses that he gave was, he's a survivor of sexual assault, which may be true. I myself am also a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. But we know that sometimes abusees, victims, which I don't know which word to use. Sometimes people who were victimized in that way become the abuser. And this pattern of behavior that is being compiled, the evidence is being compiled, is pointing more and more towards that direction. Do I know if he has actually ever done something like that to a child? No. Other than the 11-year-old, several of his fans saying he was inappropriate or hugged them too tight, even when they said, they were uncomfortable with that. You know, if a fan, if anyone, if you're hugging someone and they say they're uncomfortable, you stop doing what they say is making them uncomfortable. And he seemed, in the account from the victim, seemed to take delight in the fact that she was uncomfortable, and then doubled down on his behavior and squeezed her tighter. Another girl, you know, she was walking away after getting a selfie with him, and he grabbed her and pulled her hair. Now, whether that was sexual or not, it was an assault, and it shouldn't have happened. Even if his apology had been sincere, which I watched his apology, and I regret giving him those views on that video, but I felt like I really needed to see it several times to really, and each time I watched it, I felt like I picked up on a different, like, cue of, like, oh, he's not really sincere here, or, you know what I'm saying? And I'm by no means a behavior or body language expert, but honestly, that was not a sincere apology. I truly don't believe it is. After the years, decade, or, 10 years on YouTube, he's had this pattern of misbehavior, and there's no excusing it anymore. And honestly, my heart truly goes out to each and every one who was victimized by him. And that even includes Will Smith. And, even if there is no physical touching or even person-to-person interaction, whether it's over the phone, like FaceTiming or video chatting. He used to be into tiny chatting with his underage fans. Absolutely appalling behavior there. It doesn't matter. That all still has a lasting effect on a person because you are being sexualized by someone who's far older, someone who you look up to, and that is dangerous behavior, and it still affects people. And I really truly feel for each and every one of the victims that had to deal with this person. And at the time, many of the accounts said at the time I was flattered and thought it was so great. And then when I told, my parents or older, guardians, they were like, that's absolutely unacceptable behavior. And I guess they felt at the time there was really nothing they could do about it. All I can say in closing is that Shane Dawson needs help, and he needs to be held accountable, and he needs to be removed from a platform that would continue to allow him to just float right past this. And at this point, everybody's aware of it. He's got the Smith family on his ass. He's not getting out of this time. But the fact that he got away with it for so long, and it's unacceptable. So in closing, all I have to say is, I hope that people who are victimized by him to continue to come out. I hope that people, who are more talented at digging through the internet than I am continue to find these horrendous things and bring more of his behavior to light so that we can actually build a case against a person. I honestly don't know if there's any legal action that can be taken from his past aggressions, but at the very least, we can get him removed from YouTube. And in the Twitter feed that I'm going to link, there is a petition. You can sign it. You don't have to sign it. But it's a petition to have him removed from the platform altogether. And, this happened in Hollywood. The Me Too movement, we've been trying to clean out. I say we, I haven't been involved other than to watch and maybe make comments about in videos. But, strong women and men in Hollywood have finally started standing up for themselves, saying, no, we're not going to put up with this disgusting behavior behind the scenes. So YouTube's getting its turn, and apparently the gaming streaming platform Twitch is also going through its Me Too time and cleaning out the problematic people there. I just sincerely hope that people who are not actually problematic, like Jenna Marbles, or at least no longer problematic, get dragged into this again, because it just takes the spotlight off of the people. That sounds positive. It takes the glare, I should say, off of the people who are really in need of having their platform shut down. I guess that's really all I can say right now. I'm just really disappointed in Shane Dawson and YouTube and myself for ever supporting or following this person. Anyway, I hope I can start making actual lighthearted, fun content, but I have a feeling this is only going to get more dark, and maybe that's what YouTube needs, is someone to start or continue making lighthearted, fun, hopefully unproblematic content. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you for staying, thank you for listening. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you next time.